Welcome to the Healing Pod. I'm Megan, a licensed clinical psychologist.
And I'm Jessica, a licensed clinical social worker, and this is our journey of navigating anxiety as we learn to take up space and create an environment where we feel that we can belong.
Join us together as we learn not just to survive, but to thrive in our anxious brains.
This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you are experiencing any mental health concerns, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or healthcare provider. Remember, your mental health is important, and seeking personalized professional help is key to your well-being.
Hi, welcome back, guys. We are in another night of winging it because none of us are in the mood for anything this week.
And life is better without plans. Spontaneous conversations come with the best information.
It really does. It really does. Plus, I just don't have it in. I don't have the mental energy to add things this week, which is sad because this is only my second day of work. So I start work, on a Tuesday, not on a Monday. We're recording on a Wednesday for some reason. Now y'all know our schedules. Don't stalk us, or do whatever you want. But I was supposed to have Tuesday off originally. And then we ended up switching around schedules because Casey got sick. So I just went to work anyway. And all I had was admin stuff and typing all day. So I didn't even see any clients. And then today I had 3 clients in the afternoon. And the rest of the day was all admin and typing stuff. It's like, I don't even want to do this. I can't focus on this stuff.
Admin work is the worst. It is the easiest. But it's the most monotonous. I spent all day yesterday in between sessions catching up on admin work. And every single time I say, I'm going to hire somebody for this because I hate it, and I never do.
Right? I mean, I don't mind it at all. I like the work when I know what I'm doing. When I don't know exactly how it is, I hyper focus, and it takes me, 3 hours to write a 3-page letter because I'm like, am I wording it right? Did I do enough stuff in there? What's going on here?
So what would happen if you just brain dump, wrote it, and then went through and fixed what you felt needed to be fixed?
Oh, that's what I did, but I edited it 12 times after brain dumping.
You get twice. That's it. Twice.
I can't do one thing of paperwork. So if it's a form I have to fill out, I will sit there and panic and I cannot touch it. I have to print out 2 or 3 copies of it so I can do it really badly and then try to do it good and then fix the mistakes I made while I was trying to do it good. Yeah. I've learned this about myself. Me and paperwork, it needs to be on a computer so I can edit it and edit it and edit it, or multiple copies in front of me. I can't just do one.
Yeah. And what would happen if you let go of that need for perfection?
It would be messy and I would make mistakes and it might not be filled out right.
Or it may come out perfectly okay and you may have less stress.
Probably. It's I know my handwriting is bad. And when I get nervous and jumpy about doing more things, it gets even worse. So there are times I can't even read what I have written down. There are times I just anxiously add ing in the middle of the words because my hand likes doing that downward motion of the G's, apparently. Yeah.
So in all fairness, you are a doctor, so you're supposed to have that handwriting.
I have been practicing to write like a doctor since elementary school. But I tell that to all the kids. They're like, oh, my child's handwriting is bad. I'm like, doctor, be a doctor. That's all it is. Yeah. So it's I know the perfectionism. I don't aim for perfect because I don't think of myself as anywhere near that good, but I don't like the level I'm at. So it's hard for me to say this is good enough of a hot mess. And this is an acceptable hot mess.
Yeah. And also you are always good enough. So there's that.
That's hard, isn't it? You can say,
I'm not, but you are.
Exactly.
You are good enough.
Exactly. You can say that. And I can say, oh, it's just really nice. And she's a great friend. Of course she thinks that of me. But then trying to make my brain hold on to that concept. It's okay, but Well, you might think that, but really it's like, well, of course you're good enough. On that sense that every human being is good enough and you're better than pond scum. All right, at least I have a baseline, but just kind of nudge it a little higher every now and then.
Yes. So I saw, like,
Mhm.
I was talking to you about my therapist today,
Yes.
for that ketamine assisted psychotherapy. So today was my first treatment,
Woo.
my second meeting with her.
Mhm,
Um, so the way that they do it, you do like an integration meeting,
mhm.
which is, basically the intake, you build rapport, whatever. And then your second session, like, is your doing ketamine treatment. Um, and the therapist that I chose, funny enough, reminds me, she's like this weird combination of
Mhm.
all my besties. We got a little bit of Deb in there. She's like
Nice.
very calming. Um, she's very much like you with her, like, uh, she's very factual, like she's
Mhm.
very quirky, she's very funny in the way like she says things. Um, and like she relates a lot to it, right? And she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I totally do that," and like totally not okay for her, but also let me telling you why it's okay that you do
Mhm.
it. And then you got a little bit of a Viva in there, and
Mhm.
she's just like, "This is what I see, and this is what you are not doing, and this is probably what we should help you see."
Ah,
So it was like a whole lot of, oh, I feel like I'm at home right now.
I love it. Okay.
Yes. So during the way that you do it is you take the ketamine, very low doses, right? The first one was just like my body kind of felt very relaxed, almost like when you first wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm so sleepy. I just want to lay here. So I had to do the second dose, which then it was like, oh, can't tell if I'm awake or asleep right now. And my brain, like I can hear her talking to me and I'm like in and out. She had me put on like a sleep mask. And she turned on some calming music, and then it was like basically just sit there with your brain, which normally is very hard for me.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows me knows my brain needs, right? So it was very the way that I can explain my experience was it was like wormholey. So all of the scenarios that kept playing out for me were somehow related to different things in my life. But every time it was always something good. That was the weird
Mm.
thing, right? Because I'm very open about the fact I've been through a lot of traumas, um, and just a lot of difficulties in life that are usually what stands out. That's normally where my brain ruminates. And everything that kept coming up in the wormhole were like good memories, but
Mm.
then the ground would fall out beneath me, or I would fall into quicksand, or like I was sitting in a chair and the chairs were ripped out from underneath me and then I was falling. Like every single, it was wormholing through all of these different things and it
Mm.
felt like hours, but it was only an hour. Um, and it,
Mhm.
like, as we were talking about it, and doing the processing piece, I'm not going to go through all that, right? Because we'd be here all day.
Mhm.
But the one thing that like really stuck when we're talking about this, what is good enough, she she said, what is good enough? Why I hate that construct.
Mm.
Who determines who is good enough and what good enough means? She said it's this piece that we place on ourselves that's impossible. It's an impossible expectation. And we're
Mm.
trying to meet that good enough when it doesn't exist. So I took a note. Let me find it real quick. So she told me when I start to feel like that, am I good enough? Am I stuck in that? To ask myself these three questions. So is there something possible to do about this?
Mhm.
Is there something good to do? And is there something good to have done? Instead of
Oh,
always looking for the bad or am I good enough? What good can I do instead?
yeah. I like
Hmm,
that. It's just kind of that shift away. And
yeah.
what good can I have done? So it's both like not just is there more, is there more, is there more, but taking account of what have you already put into this? Mm, okay.
And how does it feel? Does it feel good
Yeah.
for you?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that is interesting. I like that. And ketamine in general, it's such a fascinating treatment now because my biggest experience with it is gelding a horse. Like ketamine is horse
And it
tranquilizer.
has so many uses.
So many uses. And let me tell you, my horse, there were power tools involved, and we had to geld him and pull out some wolf teeth at the same time. He was happy. He was up grazing. That boy had no issues whatsoever. There is video of the gelding process that I offer to people when they get unsolicited dick pics online. I offer them that video to send back. It's great. But it's such an interesting thing because I love psychology and I love psych people because we are such fun nerds. And every now and then I have to throw so much cynicism in there of don't turn yourselves into our own multi-level marketing and stop looking for miracle cures. So ketamine has some great research. It's really fascinating what they're doing with it. And I do want people to go slower because it seems to be getting thrown at this will solve everything. This is an instant. And I think I posted the meme somewhere on the one spammy comment. You can't just take the mushrooms, you have to do the work. So
Yes,
mhm.
absolutely. And I think that's the piece that people forget. Well, yes, you feel fantastic in that moment after taking that medication because it does have those antidepressant qualities to it. The whole purpose of ketamine assisted psychotherapy and adding in that second element is that, yeah, you can feel great for the moment. It may last for a few months, maybe a year or so. But if you haven't actually fixed what was causing the problem in the first place, then once that feeling wears off or something re triggers whatever it is that caused it, then you're right back to where you started if you haven't faced and dealt with it.
Mhm. Yeah, because like you're describing this experience that we could get into all day, constantly floor falling down underneath you. Every single comfortable, positive memory just instantly dropped through. It's taken away from you. You get dropped out of it. And it takes these things. And if you're having these visual hallucinatory esque, psychedelic experiences, you're seeing it happen in a way that you're never really experiencing when you're just talking about your past trauma or you're just going about your life, reacting to things the way you always have because of your trauma. It shifts how you see it. It gives it that different tangibleness, that different representation so that you can look at it and go, "Oh, shit, is that what I've been doing? Is that why I feel like
Yes,
this?"
absolutely. It drops those walls that we have created and it creates that opportunity for that neuroplasticity to make that change in your life, to make the change in the way that you're viewing it.
Yes. And neuroplasticity, I love that word. You wanna talk more about what that is? Because it's such a fun one.
All the things.
Right, so much. Because it's neuro,
So,
it's your brain.
yep. And it really comes back to that book, The Body Keeps Score. I feel it's a really boring book, guys. Like it's a fantastic book if you love geeky clinical stuff, but it is a very like solid clinical read. Um, but just talking about how our brain and our body holds on to everything and that neuroplasticity, your brain is holding on to all of those bad things that you felt. The good things, yeah, but the bad things hurt, so they stand out more. And your brain is replaying that same thing with that neuroplasticity with the pain. You have felt that pain. You know what that pain feels like. And now your brain is prepared for that pain all of the time. So you're feeling it even when you may not actually physically be feeling it.
Mhm. Yeah. And like and it's your brain, it's neural networks. So the things that you're feeling all the time, the things that you're reviewing, the responses that you're using get stronger the more you do it. So when you have that first knee-jerk response and it makes sense in your head because the trauma is still there, because it's close enough, because the triggers are close enough, they seem right. Yeah, yeah, let's do this again. And then the next time it's just a little more removed. Maybe the people are different. Maybe it's not quite the same experience. You're just reminded of it, but you do the same response and it feels right and it seems to save you. And it gets stronger and it gets stronger. And you do it again and you do it again. Or, going back to our conversation earlier, you get used to saying dumb shit about yourself and you just say it over and over and over. And your brain's like, yeah, this is how you talk. And you're like, No, stop. Jess said this nice thing. I'm allowed to think this nice thing. No. But the plasticity, it's plastic. It's malleable. It gives more room to get off that very, very well-worn path and try something different. You still have to do the work to make that new path strong, but it gives you that flexibility to start it again or to just not go down the same one as hard as you have before.
Yes. It's all in behavior changes. It all is habits. And I feel like people don't recognize that. They think, well, I keep, that's the definition of insanity. I keep doing the same thing over and over again. But I also don't understand why nothing in my life is changing and all these bad things keep happening to me. You're not choosing the bad things that are happening to you, but when your reaction is always the same because your brain is prepared for those bad things versus, okay, this bad shit just happened, but how can I react differently this time? What can I do differently this time? And the first couple of times, your brain is going to be like, oh, no, not safe. Stop it. This is what we have to do. This kept us safe last time. And you're like, maybe, but I'm going to do this one this way anyways. And the more that you do it and you repeat it and you repeat it, you're changing the way that your neurons are firing in there. And the brain is just so amazing when it picks up on, oh, wait a minute. This didn't kill me last time. So I'm going to trust you. I trust you this time. It's a little uncomfortable, but we can do this.
Especially when we consider like so many of these deep-seated ones, like we have been doing this since childhood. We have been doing this since childhood magical thinking. If I pull the blankets over my head, the monsters aren't going to get me. It just feels safer with the blankets over your head as you're an adult because that's what you did as a child. So much of this stuff, the reasoning wasn't there. We weren't really keeping ourselves safe. We weren't really doing useful things. But that happened to get connected to the outcome and that happened to work at that moment. And that's where we're at. So that's what we've been clinging to have that sense of I'm still in control. Trauma won't happen again. Bad things are happening anyway, but maybe I can control it. Maybe I can stop this bad thing from happening. But not necessarily in a healthy way, not necessarily in a way that has any effect on the outcome.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got to change
and it's scary. Change is scary. And scary is uncomfortable. And I feel like we are programmed to avoid and lean away from the uncomfortable. When just like, going all the way back to our first episode, that uncomfortable and leaning into the unknown is how great things happen. Yeah, maybe bad shit's still going to happen. It's life. We don't get to choose. There's so much uncertainty. But also, if we don't lean into the uncomfortable and take those chances, then we miss out on so many great things that could present themselves in our life.
Absolutely. The bad things happen anyway. Something is going to happen. At some point, things happen. We don't always get to pick what the bad is. Some things are definitely, preventable. If you never jump out of a plane, you'll never have a skydiving accident. We still need to do that, but we're only episode 8, folks. So that 92 to go. Yeah.
Not there yet.
Not there yet. But like there are definite be safe. If you're out at a bar, don't leave your drink unattended. That's just a bad idea. Like there are definite things you can do to be safe. And also there's only so much you can do to be safe. And being too safe, again, if you cut off every option for any danger, you're not living life. You're not getting these new experiences. You're not making new friends. You're not finding people that truly see you and you truly connect with. You're not ziplining over gators and going, oh my gosh, that gator is actually yellow. That is so cool. You're not doing those things. You're not collecting porn cards from the strippers on the streets. Things that we would never have done if we didn't get outside of our comfort zones.
Yes, absolutely. My daughter, my 16-year-old, she's on the spectrum and she is terrified of anything that goes out of her comfort zone, out of her structure that she has created, that we have really enabled throughout her childhood and her life, because it helped her manage and succeed. she came home and said, Mom, my senior trip, they are going for spring break next year to Paris and France. And I was like, oh, well, that would have been really cool. She's like, I want to go. And
All right.
my brain is screaming, hell no, are you going to another country with a whole bunch of teenagers by yourself? Oh my gosh, what are you thinking? And I had to lean into the uncomfortable and recognize she's turning into an adult. Like this kid is turning 17 this year. She graduates next year. Like, and I was like, all right, cool. I guess we are figuring out how to come up with the money for you to go traipsing across Europe next year. Sounds awesome. And it's just like my brain is screaming, this is uncomfortable. Don't do it bad. And also, this is going to be such an amazing experience for her. And so much independence is going to be learned and experienced from her leaning into something that is uncomfortable and scary for her.
Yeah. I love it because it's her choice. She has reasons. She wants to do it. We'll make it work. I'm not saying you're not going to volunteer as a chaperone.
I'm not actually. I talked it
Ooh.
over with my mom and we made the decision that this is something that she needs to do on her own. Like she wants to be a veterinarian. She's going off to school. My mom's like, you keep encouraging her to go to not just go to a school because it's close to home and she can commute, but to go to the school that really stands out to her that will help her on her career path. So
Yeah.
you following her to Europe, she's only going to make you feel better. It's not going to help her. Like, but also I want to go to Europe.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Like that is some great mom advice there. Your mom really came through with that because it's making you feel better, not her, but the Europe trip would be nice.
I guess we're going to have to take one without her.
Let's go do a conference there or something. Do our own getaway to Europe.
Work trip.
Work
The
trip.
Healing Pod will be coming to you from Europe
Yes.
in another year or so. Maybe that's where we'll go skydiving.
Ooh, we could probably make this work. Yeah, but like there's so much in her choosing this and leaning into it that's amazing. And then it goes into, okay, what are the reasonable risks that you can account for? She's not going to be completely alone with a bunch of teenagers. They're going to have some chaperones. Making sure she can call you, that she gets the international phone service. Just generally knowing what's going on, checking in with her when you can, and knowing that she can take care of herself. And
And she's going to have the time of her life and create memories that she will never forget.
oh, that's going to be so cool.
Like, I didn't get to do things like that, but also
didn't
I
either.
was having her at her age. So there's that.
So next generation has definitely improved. We got this. All right. Parenting checklist done.
I high-fived her. I said, you did not follow in my footsteps. I'm very proud of you.
In those specific ones. She may follow in other ones that are actually really good.
That's true. She is following in like all the school and the graduation and doing all those wonderful things. But there's no babies for her. That makes me happy.
I mean, it gives her a lot more freedom to actually explore at this point in her life, which she needs. She needs this option.
Yes, absolutely.
That is so exciting for
And
her.
at the end of all of this, Mama gets a veterinarian.
Is she doing large animal or small?
So she is going to be specializing in large animal. And then her ultimate life goal is to be a shark rescuer, science person. She wants to do veterinarian stuff with sharks.
Okay.
She's a weird kid.
No,
Love her to
that's
pieces.
awesome.
She's a weird kid. So, but she's also realistic. She's like, I also recognize there's not a lot of money in that. Then it's not an easy career field to get into. So I'm going to do equine vet so I have something to pay for my hobby.
That makes a lot of sense. So she has the the dream side mixed with the logical side. The I want to do these great, big, awesome, amazing things, and I have to pay rent or get a mortgage. I have to eat. I do have to have something to pay into taxes so that I can continue to have fun and do what I want.
Yes. Some people like to go have margaritas. My child wants to go pull sharks out of nets and like sew them up in things.
I mean, I don't know why the two can't coexist. Probably not at the same time, maybe an after shark party, but that's still really cool. That's really cool.
It is pretty cool. I wish I was as brave as her, but I will not be touching sharks. So I want to do a check-in. I know
All
that
right.
when we started, you were feeling like, how are you feeling right now?
More relaxed. Chatting and talking always helps with that. It's still just a tired, I don't want to type of week, but I don't have to anything right now. So that's kind of like this doesn't feel like a okay, it's a stress and okay, I have to and let's get doing this. Is just a no, I want to talk to you. And if we record it and turn it into a podcast, sure, why not? All the better.
Do you
So
need to pause and go get a gin and tonic?
still have some.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
It is a drinking night, yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely like there's I don't know if there's something just we were talking earlier going around with the universe or something like there is just definitely that heaviness almost like that it's a push to do the things we have to do this week. It's all right, I'm gonna be a good adult when really I just kind of want to curl up in a corner and not have to move or think or be or exist or provide for or respond to anything. But instead we're good
Yeah.
adults. Yeah. And then we sit home at night and relax. Casey has a new video game. She is loving it. I'm going to play it after her because it's adorable. There's a little fox running around. It's so cute. So I was like, all right, I will try this as long as I have her sitting next to me to give me the clues. She plays through it first because she wants no spoilers whatsoever. I will play through it second and give me the spoiler.
Can I point out something
Yes.
fantastic?
Mhm.
Whether knowingly or unknowingly, you are asking for support in what you need.
Dang, how do I back into that one?
And for anybody who listens to this is huge for not only Megan, but
This
me
is,
too.
yeah.
But this is huge for Megan, and we are
Yeah.
celebrating her right now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is not something either of us do because both of us are very much in the helper position of okay, I will take care of you and I will take care of you and I will take care of you and I will not put any of myself onto anyone else because then I am not taking care of you and I might be overburdening you. So yeah, I'm tired this week. It's not there's nothing going on. There's no real reasons. I've got fun stuff coming up this weekend. I get to go see a play this weekend or a musical this weekend. I've seen a musical next weekend. I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
Taking care of others all of the time
Mhm.
and never actively putting yourself first is fucking exhausting.
It is. It is.
So it's understandable you're tired because that is our natural state of being. And your brain's like, guess what? No, everybody else, figure it out.
And they will. They really will.
Yes.
Um, I was talking with a couple of clinicians earlier this week, and we're trying to figure out like time frames. Like I have an hour to do a session with this client, 53 to 107 minutes, however you want, or however long you want to do it, be able to get paid for an hour. You know, like I have this long to work with this client. How do I only work with them for that length of time and not keep extending if they're still in the middle of the stuff at the end of it? And so we're going back and forth and we're just talking about, having to be able to be a container for our clients while simultaneously being aware of our own needs, our next client's needs, that if we allow our client to have this pattern that they might be having in other places and might not know how to contain themselves and how to prioritize it and how to give them the skills and the tools to recognize, I don't need to fall into this hole right now. I can walk up to the edge and say, that's where we're going next week, and step away from it without having to go into it, and to have that choice. And just the client layer and the other client layer and our own layer, and then phone called and like all of this stuff all simultaneously that we are holding while we were doing a single therapy session. No wonder I'm freaking tired.
And how much do you actually set that down once that client leaves your office and say, all right, I'll pick this up next week and not think about it again?
I'm very, very good at setting it down for the next client.
For the next client.
For the next, I'm very, because I have the next client, I have the next client, I have the next client. And then there are days where I come home, it's like, I don't have words anymore. Just gonna stare blankly at a wall, gonna scroll through my phone. There's something on the TV. I think I'm paying attention to it. I don't know. I was just, and that's where the horses and chickens and dogs are great because they don't need words. It's lovely. But like it is okay. Am I doing enough for this client? What can I do for the next step client? Do I need to research something else? Do I need to try a different modality? Where did we leave it at? Did I cut them off too soon? Did I do a bad job cutting them off? Should I have given them 3 hours instead of 1 hour? Like, should I just be giving everything no matter what because there is need? Yeah, all of that stuff. And then telling it to shut up. I'm sitting down and eating dinner now. Let me eat.
Yes. How do you take care of you?
A lot of little things. Like, and that's like, I love cooking. I have no time or energy for meal planning and meal prepping. Huge, like lots of respect for people that do. If you can plan a meal, if you can prep your meal, if you're even pulling stuff out in the morning, I am amazed by you. I can't mentally and cognitive, and we tried that. Like my wife and I, we tried that for a while. I just cannot mentally handle that extra step. So we actually, most of our groceries come from one of those meal kits. We'll just get one of those and, make it last, turn to a few extra lunches, add some extra vegetables. But it's just, here is a list. Here is a menu. Here is a bag of recipes. Just make it. And then I can sit there and I can just follow the recipe and I can just cutting up this and I'm doing this and I don't like that. So I'm changing it and I don't like that. So I'm changing it, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's the step-by-step instructions. Do A, do B, do C. Voila, you have a pork chop.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it kind of settles things enough that I can refocus on that and I can come back to it.
Good.
What about you? What do you do for that? What do you do for that?
Oddly, I clean.
Okay.
I notice when I'm stressed and I am overwhelmed or I'm just needing to like shut my brain off. I turn Netflix on my phone. I put my headphones in and I clean my house. Like I don't even have to be looking. I don't know why I even turn it on my phone. Like I don't look at it, but I think the background noise stops the ruminations in my brain so that I clean, I organize. We just moved. So right now I'm like unpacking everything and trying to fit a 4-bedroom house into a much smaller space. And it's a whole lot of like, I like sorting and finding things. And I think there's some kind of like balance for me of putting things in the places where they belong. Clutter around me makes my brain feel cluttered.
That makes all sense. Yes, we're both doing something that, it has, what am I trying to say? Like, you can see the results. You can see your progress. You can see the results. You can see, oh, I have had an effect. And that is very different than day-to-day therapy work. A lot of our day-to-day therapy, our day-to-day sessions, you're not having giant epiphanies and, oh my gosh, I did this thing you suggested last week and my life is so much better. That doesn't happen. First off, we try not to suggest things. Second off, it never happens that way. Like it just you see slow progress over time. You get so proud when your clients do something that is so amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, you're doing healthy things for you. I love it. But day
Yes.
to day, session to session, like it's hard. You let them go at the end and you're like, I don't know if you're gonna do stuff better, different. I know we've tried, I know we worked on it. Here's hoping. And then you go home and you clean the room and the room is cleaner. And
Yes.
you make a meal and the meal is made. And you make a chicken coop and suddenly there's a chicken coop. Like having having the very physical tasks on the outside of our very mental, emotional tasks helps me balance it a lot.
Absolutely. And especially in the kind of work that we do, I think that there is that aspect, that unspoken aspect, right? That people come to us usually when they are in the worst phase of their life. Like they are at the point that they're like, I don't care, you're a total stranger. I need somebody to help me. And you're there for all of the bad. And then when they find that good again, which is amazing, and you're so happy, like they found that good, but it's just, they're just gone. Like they just stop coming, right? Because things are good. So I feel like it's a very humbling reminder that, you know, when you can put things away, you can cook a meal and it's beautiful. Um, and I feel blessed in the fact that I have a lot of clients who don't care that other people know that they were in treatment. They don't care how people know that they know me. And a lot of my stuff I post on Facebook is public, and a lot of, you know, like my nonprofit page is public. And I have clients from years ago who, like, on the most random posts will comment, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for helping me heal and taking my life back. And it's just like, I didn't do that. You did that, but I gotta be there for that. And I think we forget those pieces. And it's just like, oh, this draining day to day to day work. And those little comments like that, or those, you know, those check-ins, those random letters like I have. Sure, I can pull it down. It's right here. I'm not gonna show the backside because it's got a name. But like I have this little note that when I very first started therapy years ago, a client had come in to see me. She decided she didn't need therapy anymore. She decided, of course, the 1 week I was on vacation, which I never took vacation. And she had left on my note, it says, by doing what you love, but well, I can't stop. By doing what you love, you inspire and awake the heart of others. Thank you for giving me hope and helping me heal. And then she put the date and her name. And I have kept, this was
Aw.
2019, and I have kept this with me, like every office that I have ever gone in, and it sits, it's like on my degrees up there, and it's like in my degree frame. So it's my humbling reminder of, yeah, these days are draining. This job can be very draining, but there's a purpose and a reason behind what we do.
There is. And you do it. Like it's a humbling reminder, but it's also the exact opposite. This is something to build you up. This is look at what you've done. Look at the change you helped create. You helped that person to find that energy, to find that space, to find that movement, to find that different thing to try to get their life back on track.
And you
Because you
can't
can't.
keep on that if you don't take care of you
No.
and lean
Like
into the blah days.
blah days happen. Blah days happen for all of us.
Yep.
If you are full of shit, your clients will know. They will.
Just like we know when they're full of shit.
Oh,
Remember that, people.
absolutely.
We
We
always
know.
know.
We know. Sometimes we don't call you out on it. Sometimes we're like, all right, we'll see what you say next week. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes we do that, but we know. We know. But they know too. Like if we're sitting there, and that's, you know, the way I do therapy, I'm very much just me in therapy. But if we sit there and we're like, no, you should think you're the best person in the world. And it's just easy. Just say just look in the mirror and say 10 nice things about yourself every day. Yeah, you're never going to hear that come out of my mouth. You're going to hear me say, look, I know it's really rough. I have got myself from this point to this point, and I am still inching up further every chance I can get and making myself inch. I can't tell you to go for way up here because it's not gonna happen. But I can tell you if you're here, let's aim for here. And then next week we're gonna aim for here. And we're just gonna keep going. Because I know it's hard, but I also know the only way to do it is those little tiny grueling steps and to hold yourself to it and make yourself do the work. And we'll be right there with you doing the work, even on our blah days.
There are many times I have shown up for every single session, and I probably am feeling just as low, if not lower, than what my client is that
Mhm.
day. Still put that smile on.
Mhm.
And then I think, I'm not being very authentic. So whenever they're asking, how are you today? And I tell them, this isn't about me. I'm here today,
Mhm.
but I'm here for you. This isn't about me.
Because there is that space. Like, we don't need to drag our clients into our holes. It's not like, oh, well, actually, I'm feeling really bad today because of this and this and this and this and this. We don't need all that. It's like, I am feeling pretty low energy today too. And then what do you want to do with it? Do you want to suggest doing something grounding or meditating with your client? Do you want to suggest taking a walk or something to change both of your energy levels? Like, what coping skill can you use and extend to your client, especially if you're both at the same place? It's like, yeah, I'm not feeling, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's the weather. I was like, it's just been a rough week for me too. How about we do this?
Just
Like, this
boost
is
each
this is
other.
about you, and I wanna keep this focused about you. I know I'm not gonna be sitting here and be like, "Oh, this is so awesome." I'm not gonna be a cheerleader today, but you know what? We're both in the junk, and I know there's a way through it because 'cause I've been here before. Let's start walking together.
Yep,
Let's find that path through.
exactly. There are times I always do, like the mindfulness meditation. And almost, I don't want to say
Mhm,
almost every session, I do that with the horses, whether we start with it or we end with it or it's somewhere in the middle. It's usually in there. And there are times that I find, wow, I needed that just as much as you did. And
mhm,
I can feel myself breathing a little bit better too. And I call
mhm.
that out because
Yeah,
if you can't show who you are and how you're feeling, then it's like, why are you here?
mhm.
Everything's great for you. You don't understand what I'm going through.
I know. It's like, "Oh, just try mindfulness. I'm sure it'll make you feel better. I'm gonna sit over here and worry myself and just be, like, pacey and horribly anxious, but you do mindfulness." And this is why we work with horses a lot, folks, because they will call you out on that BS like anything. They
Mhm.
know when you're just talking and you ain't doing it. They know.
Yes.
They will. And they'll be all the way across the field looking at you like, "I don't wanna be close to you until you remember to breathe, missy." Uh-huh.
They do that.
They do, they do. They're so good at it. We try to be good at it too. Had to
I
call
think
ourselves
we're
out.
getting there.
We are. Little bits. I always just want to be a little bit better. I'll just keep working on it. We'll get there
Yes,
eventually.
we're all growing together, my
Mhm.
friends.
We are. So that sounds like a lovely place to leave it on with everyone growing and grow together, right?
Let's grow, friends.
Let's go. Let's go have another drink. Let's actually relax and take care of ourselves. All the things. All the things.
We'll take over Casey's game.
It does look really cute. Look it up if y'all like video games. I'm sure you heard of it. So Tunic, it's adorable. But thank you for joining us again. If you found us accidentally, you probably know where to find us again. But if for some reason you don't, we are on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we are on YouTube. So you can see all the weird faces and count how often I drink tea and or not tea. Today it was in a dark cup, so you couldn't actually see what it is, but I did drink it all. Let's see what else. So we have a podcast if you ever want to join or yeah, we have a podcast. Go figure. I didn't even know we have a podcast. We have a podcast if you want to listen. We also have a Patreon if you want to join us on there and see the stuff that we cut out at the beginning of the session and the beginning of the last session. Last session was fun.
Oh, you gotta, are you posting everything? Because that is some pretty inappropriate.
There's different tiers, so you can join for free and just see me occasionally ramble on there, or you can pay us money and we'll talk about OnlyFans that we don't have, but we should totally start someday. I like
If I can find a way around not losing my clinical license,
so there was a joke Casey found. Someone posted or somebody is making an OnlyFans full of not safe for work things, but instead of any nudity, it's all just OSHA violations.
that's a fantastic idea.
We could do that. I do
So
that with my eyes closed every day anyway.
all the things I can't say in a clinical session, I'm gonna say on OnlyFans, and people can pay to hear me say them.
So join Patreon and tell us to make an OnlyFans. Where else can they find us? Where else are we at online?
We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. So come check us out. Our TikTok's been a little lonely lately, but we do have some awesome things on our Facebook.
Oh, you
And
just
we like
posted
to talk.
Elizabeth's thing today. Yes.
Yes, the
Oh,
video from our guest
yes.
Elizabeth McCorvey for the music video that she created with the community of middle schoolers that she was talking about has been completed. It is absolutely beautiful. I have watched it like 5 times. I did post that on our Facebook page. So please go give it some love and share
Mhm.
and add to that wonderful community and just listen
Yes.
to the beautiful voices of not only Elizabeth, but all the kids singing with her.
Mhm. That will give you some hope for the future there. That's a good thing.
Yes.
So, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Take care, everyone.